Hello, everyone. Look the same. Hello, everyone. We are here. We're talking the marital bed. I named you. We are. Be sure to go ahead and like, subscribe, um, comment, and share to your page. Yes, and all that stuff. Hi, what is this? Hi. Hey, Danielle. Join in. I'm gonna put the link here. Glad you said hey. I think you're in Tampa. Hey. Let me do this really quickly. Y'all know how it goes. Showing live. Here we go. All right. There we go. Okay. So we're talking the marital bed today. And I know very little about that because I'm not married, never been married. So I just know what the word says to me. Is there anything you would like to start off saying? I'm glad we're in the same one together. Hi. Nope. Are there limits to the marital bed? What's that? Stays in this room or not? What do you mean, Oscar? What stays in this room or not? Let me put that up. So let me ask you all that are watching: are there limits to the marital bed? Like, do I get that nothing's defiled and it's between the husband and the wife? But the question is, are there limits? And if so, what are those limits?
No, I don't think that there are limits. I think that as long as both partners are in agreement, then um, everything goes. Anything goes. Am I wrong?
I say there's limits. Oh, it's limits, baby. It's limits. There are limits to this. Um, I'm gonna wait. I think we have like two more people, a few more people probably that are gonna come on. But yeah. Okay. So this all started with so this all started with a conversation between my sister and my other sister. And we were talking about marriage and like what's okay, what's not okay. And I was like, you know what? We should do a live on this. And then I was watching What's Love Got to Do with It with a friend of mine. And I was like, okay, just because like just because you're married to someone doesn't mean that you have free reign. I feel like sure there should be nobody, you shouldn't say no, but like not necessarily no, but I feel like you shouldn't say um you should be able to say not tonight with limits. All right, Danny, the MP. I wonder what this MP means. What is the M? What's up, girl? How you been? How are you? The
The
nurse
I'm good.
practitioner, you did it. I see you showing off.
Hi, guys.
So, what do you think about the marital bed?
I think the limitations are only set by those involved.
Okay.
As long as both parties are in full agreement, sky's the limit.
The sky.
Well, okay. Well, I'm gonna have to agree with that because if both parties are in agreement, that means the other person is cool with it. Both people are cool with it. But what if your husband is like, you know what? I want this chick I know to join in, and I feel
The
like
premise of my argument says that both parties have to be in agreement.
Right. Yeah. So if he's saying I want another person, I'm not in agreement, then no.
Exactly. Because
But I
both of you
will.
have to be in agreement.
But in the
Because
words
if both of
Meg
you are not open
Thee
to polyamory, then no.
right.
Hmm.
And in the words to make the stallion, switch my wig, make him feel like he's cheating. Hello.
Okay. But do you not feel like there should be some compromise in the bedroom also? I mean, if you feel like
Not like
anything,
that though. Sorry.
oh, that's fine. If you want me to, you do the same.
Well, yeah, because but anyways, listen. Even if there's compromise means that both parties have to agree.
Right.
But if your partner absolutely says, for example, if the woman wants to invite people and the husband says no, the answer is no.
But are you not supposed to please your spouse? Like, are you not supposed to make your spouse happy? Like, are you not supposed to do what you can
It's
to
not it's not about just
satisfy?
making your spouse happy, because sometimes those kind of arrangements can make an unstable marriage.
Right. But if you're trying to make your man happy and she's trying to make her dude happy, then is that not stabilization?
No, I feel like because if you're doing things that you don't want to do, now you're unhappy, and now you're gonna have
Because you
resentment
can't
and
put
all
yourself in
kinds
an
of stuff.
uncompromising situation to make the other person
Right.
happy.
I agree.
Right. But then but you also are making, like, say you want something. I'm trying to think of something that how I can say it without getting in trouble. Say you want to visit him from the back.
Say if he wants to what? I'm sorry.
Visit him from the back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
Go
because
through the
he
back
wants
door.
to make go through the back door, and because because you want to make him happy, or he wants to make you happy, he has to suffer some uncomfortability,
Mm.
just as you suffer some uncomfortability with
So
with
this is
the
him
other.
who wants it, or this is the other one, the woman who wants it.
The woman wants to visit him from wants to go
If
through the
he's not
back
in
door.
agreement, then no.
Uh,
Yeah, that's where the male G spot is, but he still has to agree. Just like if he wants to enter that spot in a woman, she has to agree to that too.
Unless he's sleep.
I think there's a
That's a
word for
myth.
that.
That's a myth. I don't know who told you that's where the male G spot is. That's not correct. That's a myth.
Okay.
Well, she's
She is a
a
I
nurse.
know
medical
it for a
practitioner.
fact since I've done prostate exams.
I apologize, ma'am. It's not a myth. It's just misinformation. Then it's fake news.
Is it? Hold on. Let me
So then
just get my AirPods. Sorry.
I guess that poses the question of where is the male G spot then,
No,
nurse, and
it's in
anything
the
else?
prostate.
Stop.
The prostate you palpate it from inside the rectum. Because we have to do for prostate exams to check to see if there's lumps. And when we do that, woohoo!
Is that the sound of?
I've heard a plethora of noises.
I'm staying far away from you, ma'am. I just want to say that for the record.
Don't worry, I keep my nails short.
Oh my! Oh my!
Girl, my sis, girl, my
Oh
life.
Lord, I'm sorry. I don't miss all kinds of comments, y'all. Wait a minute. Let me go to these comments real quick. I guess that's on the anything goes.
Let's
I
see.
am looking for my earbuds. Okay, here they go.
Only limit is set by those involved, right? Okay.
Uh-oh, okay.
I I have a question. When you say limits, are you talking about frequency or flavor of when it comes to intimacy?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Hold on. Give me a second.
Hold
Oh,
on,
because you got
buddy.
it on here, that's why.
Right.
Studio buds.
Wait, who says okay? Chevalier,
What he say?
bring yourself right on here, because that is not what I am saying. I am not saying eat nothing that isn't swallowable.
What it is though.
His booty is swallowable. Oh, sorry, right. Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
Oh, science says that's where the prostate is located, Reverend.
Who said that?
That's gonna be a Chevalier who needs to just come on
I
here.
just want to say for the record, this is not what I expected tonight. I just want to say for the record.
I can hear now.
Hi. I agree. There has to be an agreement. Right. Okay. So now let's take the agreement off the table. Nobody, you're in this situation where you have to compromise. You have to come to some sort of consensus. You either say yes, he says no, like that kind of thing. Because naturally, if you both agree, there's no limit. So what do you do in the instance that you want to, you're gonna take the back door instead because there's a snake at the front door, and um he's reluctant, we'll say.
Well, you can't really force him to do so. I mean, if it's a discussion that you guys have and he has spoken against it and said, no, I definitely do not want to do that, I don't think you should really have to push him that much to try to convince him. You can mention it again in the future if it's something that you're pressed to try. But if he's not in agreement, you can't force him to do it.
I'm sorry. Okay. Well, this is true. I agree. Well, let's say that, how do I, oh,
I feel like there should be a conversation, not begging or just badgering somebody, but definitely a conversation. Let's talk about this because I like to hear your mindset. Why is it a no?
mm-hmm,
Or I want to tell you why it's a no. I want you
mm-hmm.
to really hear it and understand it. So maybe one, we won't revisit this again. Or two, you might see that my way is the better way. So yeah, I think a conversation for sure.
Anybody have anything
You can turn it back on.
in opposition? I don't know what that means.
Speak freely, but not so freely. What's the question?
Right. I just,
So the question is, if one person wants to, the other person does not, how should that go? Because we all agree that with consent, there is no limit. Anything goes. But when one doesn't and the other does, how do you, like, what can you do there?
I think that is the limit.
Say that again.
I think that is the limit. If we say there are no limits, and that's good in theory, but if it's something that is um, uncomfortable for the person, there's difference in. Can you not hear me? There's a difference in I don't want to do that, and someone saying there's a legitimate reason why this is uncomfortable. And I feel outnumbered because there's so many women on here tonight. But I will say this: I know someone personally who was married to a woman who had a traumatic experience as a child. And because she had a traumatic experience as a child, certain things were not open to her or to him um, in that arena. So because of that, you could try to force that into your lifestyle, but I don't think that's right. But I think there's a difference in something like that, and then somebody just saying, "Well, I ain't never did that before. I don't want to get out my comfort zone." I think you have to get out your comfort zone, but the person who's expecting also has to understand that there are limitations at some point.
Correct. Because on top of that, like something I always tell my patients as well, is that you have to set your boundaries with people. And if that person has that boundary, you have to respect that boundary. Because in any relationship, they have their list of non negotiables, whether you discuss it during marriage or prior to, there's a list of non negotiables. Like, for example, cheating. So that is a non negotiable for some people. Physical or mental abuse. That's a non negotiable for some people because that's one of my non negotiables that I discuss with my partner. So if the person has a non negotiable, then you have to respect it or you get out of it.
Okay, so let's go and say this. Say Lolita uh was about that life
What
before they
life?
got married. Now they're
Don't say
married.
that. What kind of life?
Anything goes.
No, no way.
I'm just saying, sky's the limit, baby.
Use Ashley. Use me. That's fine. Yes, let's. And can I say I'm here representing Fantasyland. No association with Disney World because I am not married. So this is just my opinions are straight from Fantasyland.
Duly noted. Thank you. Thank you. So let's say Lashley was freaking, I mean, by that life back in the day, by that life before marriage, and then marriage came along. And now there's non-negotiables, and now there's limits. How do you feel about that situation? Now before it was marriage, I mean me and you plus two, and now it's like me and you, boo.
Well, like Ashley said, that it can be up for discussion as far as why there was a change. Um, I mean, at the end of the day, the person still has to agree to it.
Are we implying that she was about that life with me and changed after marriage, or she was about that life with others? I knew about it and it changed after marriage. Because anything we did before marriage, if that was on the hook that got me hooked, you're gonna do that until we put you in a nursing home. Don't and that's on Mary, the little lambs, and little lady Hubbard who lived in the cupboard.
See, I had the same question.
Wow.
Was it the two people, the same two people? Because I feel the same way as Freak of the Week. That if that's what if we was rocking like that, we got to keep on rolling like that. I don't know what yeah, unless somebody had like a
Back injury.
no, just like a yeah, unless somebody had like a epiphany and they got saved. Yeah.
Villages is a spot for you. Fantasyland.
Oh, over there looking like a lioness.
I feel the same way as Gerard does to a certain extent. Um, I don't know, cause just like I don't want to say it, and I'm not speaking about like me. I'm speaking for the people of Fantasyland. So say the dude doesn't help out around the house, or it's a lot on her plate, and they used to have sex, maybe, or we used to have sex 7 days a week, and now it's just so much on my plate now that we're married because we have new responsibilities. Then of course it would change a little bit, and I would expect, like, for him to understand that or take some of that stuff off my plate.
and taking into consideration, of course, medical complications.
Can we take her off? I can't take her.
No, because listen, that's also, for example, the guy I'm dating is 10 years older than me. Chances are, in when he like 70 something, hmm?
Come through. Come
Chances
through.
are by when he's 70, I mean, we're not gonna be 7 days a week
Right.
because your stamina is a lot different when you're younger than when you're up there. But if they still, if you still have that expectation,
So then, would you not say his stamina is still up there and yours is not? Are you not going to allow him to find someone to fulfill that stamina?
I know someone. Well, I know of someone who had a medical issue and she could not,
Mm.
and she gave permission, short for permission, to her husband to do that.
yes, I had a neighbor who did the same thing.
Well, we might be talking about the same person. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
I'm, but
but he
no,
talked to me about it.
yeah, but that's a thing because she went through she had cancer.
Menopause. Oh, okay.
She had
Mhm.
cancer and was going through chemo and things like that.
Mhm.
And they're still married to this day.
Are
That's
they
been a
happy
long
now?
time. They're happy. I mean, with the arrangement because they it was both they both consented.
But was
They
her
both agreed.
consentation reluctant?
I'm
Like,
sure it was,
right. So technically, I don't feel like technically she consented.
but I feel
That's
like
not necessarily true.
right. But I feel like maybe the value of being with him was more. Because something it's not just all about that. Sometimes you just really like that person's company. He might know how to deal with her emotionally. He might check all those boxes, and she might have felt like she wanted, she. I think if it was me, and I don't ever want to be in this position, I think I would consent to that, and I would be happy for him. In that, as long as he's still being everything else for
Can,
me,
do you
I wouldn't deny him that.
do you still spell cap CAP? Has that changed since we've been on here tonight? Do you still spell that CAP? What what about full of it? And I'm not talking about the Holy Ghost. Come on, man.
Right.
I said, "Come on, I man." would.
So,
I don't. You don't have to know me, but I would. I wouldn't if I could not. I would not make him suffer with me.
Ash.
Please, 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 Jaleesa, play. I would not make him
so
suffer with me. That's crazy. Because I would want to suffer with him if it was the reverse.
I'm gonna say absolutely not because if it was the reverse, he wouldn't let you do that.
Boom. He
that's not necessarily true.
you don't know
That's
that.
not
You don't know
necessarily
that.
true.
It's the common
'Cause
answer.
Hey,
It's gonna be I
It's
agree
the
with
common
you.
what,
answer.
what I think you guys should do, listen to the only man here tonight. If it falls off on the way home from work and it never works after work, the answer is no.
Right.
Find something else to do. And in the words of my in the words of my grandmother, when it leaves your hips, it's always in your lips.
so when it falls off of you,
I told you I'm not talking to you no more tonight.
well, I'm gonna tell you this story about my neighbor.
Okay.
So after she went through menopause, basically her libido completely fell off. She did give her consent to her husband to have a little girlfriend on the side, and she's fine with it. He come home, he still does what he's supposed to do, and they're still happy. But there is a double standard. Men don't do so well with that, but I have heard of situations where the man is okay with it as well. Especially like there was one guy, he became a quadriplegic after a car accident. So and he allowed his wife to go find someone else to take care of that.
Okay. And I feel like in that situation, all respect due, I feel like in that situation, he did that because maybe he felt he wasn't going to be able to find somebody that will marry or be with a quadriplegic. So he was like, well, I have no choice. If I want to keep somebody that's going to help me take care of myself, then I have to let her do this. I don't think that those people are eagerly or happily agreeing to that.
But my neighbor was okay with it because she said that her libido fell off and she don't feel like doing it. Have somebody else to do it.
And I would imagine that they're not happily doing it because I'm sure they would like to do it. I'm sure that's more of a reflection on the fact that they cannot do it. And you already have some kind of feeling about yourself if you become a quadriplegic, whatever the case may be. You're already down. So I feel like I think that some people value companionship over that. It's a totally different ballgame to be alone.
Can I say something? And this is not to diminish or to badger anyone, but if two women right now can find a way to add things to their life in the form of straps and this, that, and other to make that work, surely I can if it leaves me in order to please her. Even if in that moment I'm not getting anything out of it, I definitely could fake the funk to get her to where she needs to be, and vice versa. There's so many things that a woman could do, because I think men are a little different. I think men are a little different. Men are easier to get to the finish line with other things. Women, you can do everything with a woman and she still not get to the finish line.
That job that job is gonna get real tired.
Mm-hmm.
There's only so much of that you can do.
Listen, I tell you what, take a break, sip some water slowly. Since you're a nurse practitioner, you probably know that. Sip some water slowly and get back out there, coach.
That's a question.
What's his name?
Darian.
Darian, what do you mean by that? Should be limits. Just hop on and let us know.
Yeah, hop on. Don't take your.
But no,
I
I feel like you can fake the funk and all that stuff. But like she said, you're a quadriplegic, or like if you can't help much in those regards. I feel like if that heaven forbid that happened to my spouse, but let me be free. We're gonna still have a relationship, but let me live my life in that area.
Okay, so what if you have something to say, Fantasyland?
You know what? I don't even like to say that word. I don't feel comfortable even hearing that word.
What word is that?
That medical condition in a car accident.
Oh, okay.
That's a curse word to me. But if that were to happen to one of the families in Fantasyland, I feel like as a woman, see, I'm loyal, so can't nobody get his vagina but him, and if he can't get it, then
if he can't have it, no one can.
I can't even say what I want to say because my pastor might be watching, but yeah, I'm not sleeping with nobody. I just wouldn't do that. If I ain't even gonna say if it happened to me because that's not gonna happen in the name of Jesus. But that's how I feel about that.
I feel like I agree, and apparently, who is this? Somebody agrees with you.
Darian.
But for the sister who's not as loyal and your coworker is getting it anyway, what do you say for that person?
Say that again.
For the woman who's not as loyal and her coworker is already getting it, what about that? What about that person?
Wait, what? I'm confused.
He said she already cheating.
Her Pikachu. Right. She was cheating, but she was already on that cheat tip. Just like you said, she's not that loyal. But I agree. I don't think I would want to extend my Pikachu to someone else.
Peek at it. Over here.
So-
You at it. Peek at you. No, I wouldn't know. Lord,
Peek at it.
no.
So I want to give a true story without telling my business.
Which means he's gonna tell his business.
Right. So I was married and I was very young. I got married at 18 the first time, very young. And about a year into the marriage, my wife had a miscarriage. All right. And I did not want any children because I was young. I wanted to travel. I didn't want children anyway, to be honest with you. So I wasn't down about it like she was every day. Long story short, she went into this period of depression, not opening the blinds, yada, yada, yada. And one day when we were arguing, because I'm like, girl, what's wrong with you? You got to shake this off. We got arguing. I said to her, it's not like you lost a real baby anyway, right? Terrible thing to say. I now know. But I didn't feel this child. It was not real to me. I was at 19, 20 years old. Anywho, after that, her response was, I need to get pregnant right away. And I didn't know at that time that a lot of people have miscarriages. The only thing that makes them okay is getting pregnant again. So I was young and dumb, and I said, well, I'm not going to have sex with you unless we're using a condom because I don't want children. And her response was, well, we're not going to do it. Long story short, after about 6 or 7 months on that, I stepped outside of my marriage. Wrong, throw stones at me, completely wrong, right? And I had an uncle who was married to my aunt, my mom's sister, my mom's sister had a heart attack at 30. And for 7 years, they weren't able to have vaginal intercourse. And I didn't know that until that situation happened. Because I said, man, 6 months. Now I felt justified because I'm like, man, she using it as a weapon. And if you won't do it, somebody else will. To my uncle, who wasn't in the church, by the way, said to me, he said, man, your auntie was in a situation where she couldn't physically, with neuropathy and all these things, could not do it for 7 years. And I waited. And it made me think that there is a such thing, like Lolita said, where you can get to a place of love to where even if it's expedited, 70-year-olds ain't getting it like that. They're there for companionship. You can get to that place quicker if you allow yourself to and you love them for real. Because at the end of the day, it's overrated. Because even if a gentleman has to go into a bathroom and take care of himself, he'll be fine once he gets back in the room and he'll be ready to go to sleep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So with that, okay. So
That's nice.
do you feel like it's a contradiction then if you say no that she can't do that, but you did?
I think when you hear things like Ash saying I would be okay with allowing that, the I would have to think that she's also saying if the situation was reversed, she would want her man to be okay with her going out and doing that as well. I'm not going to get into the thing about whether or not men can take it and women can, but I will say this. I do believe that a woman who has a woman who is sick that allows her husband that liberty can still be in the marriage and happy. I don't think a man who allows that same liberty with his woman can be happy. He's going to be depressed. He's going to be angry. And if he's paralyzed, he may bite her sometimes out of anger because he ain't going to be happy. A woman can be happy and say, it is what it is. That joke going to bite her neck when she sleep or her shoulder or something.
What's so funny? Lolita and Danny, what's so funny?
It's the bite for me. It's the bite.
Okay, Chef said that he can't be a whisperer for that one.
I need
But
you.
yeah. So riddle me this. Okay. So do we agree that are we all churchgoers here? I mean, video wise, everybody believes in the Bible thing. Okay. So in the Bible it says when you're married, your body is no longer yours. Her body is no longer his. Blah 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 blah. So say he doesn't. Ooh, that scared me. I don't know why I started falling.
Me too.
So say he doesn't want to. Can you, as his wife, be like, "Well, it's mine. I'm gonna go ahead and get that."
Wait, no. I thought you was asking a different question. Okay, no.
What question did you think I was asking? She said, "Wait, no."
Um, does it matter whether you want to or not? Say your husband wants to, but you don't want to. Does it matter? And I was going to answer that question because I feel like I'm a pleaser. Like I cater. I want to make you happy. So if I don't feel like it because I'm that way, I'll do it anyway.
Okay.
With gusto.
Okay, you must
I
have
have a
read my
slight
mind.
rebuttal. I have a slight rebuttal.
You-
I have a slight rebuttal. So, say you're not feeling up to it because you're depressed. Say he's not feeling that good because he's depressed, or something of that nature. Are you still gonna do it? Because even when you're depressed, you don't have the urge to do anything.
Well, I don't know what
And
depression feels like, so I can't answer that.
okay,
Now I feel bar illness, um,
okay,
things like that, then that's different. Um, but
okay,
I do feel like, and I grew up in a church where it was, if your your spouse wanted it, then you do it, to keep
of
the devil
course,
out of your, to keep the devil out.
Yeah.
So I grew up on that, and I agree with that. In my
of
marriage,
course,
I feel like that in marriage, yes, I'm doing it. And I feel kind of like Lolita, I'm going to do it, and you're not going to be like, oh, she really don't want to. It's going to be, let's get it, let's rock. I'm
okay,
going to be just as into it as I would be if I was the initiator.
And if not, I will be Oscar-winning performance. And the SAG goes too.
So if he's depressed, so just your question now to answer your question, if he does not want to do it, is it okay for you to force yourself on him and take it?
I'm not gonna say it's okay for me to force myself upon him. I will say if I can get it,
Then
then
it's up. If
it's
it's up,
on
then it's up. And if it's up, then it's stuck.
until it's not.
Or if it's up, then I'm stuck.
Hello.
Because if a man doesn't want to do it, it's not. It sometimes it doesn't go up.
I want to say this, and I grew up
Hold
I,
on.
and if it's up, it's not abuse.
every week when I get on these broadcasts. I think that after I get off, I'm gonna have emails telling me to turn in my license. But right, yeah, my church license. But I want to say this. So I'm torn in between that because I do believe the scripture even says that you can't. Somebody is absolutely correct because I don't care if I'm not in the mood. If you put it in my face, something just happens. My head is not in the mood, but my lower half is. But I want to say this for the record. I think I'll go into that later. I think that I do believe that your body belongs to your husband or your wife. The scripture even says you can't go on a period of fasting and praying without your husband and wife's permission. Because if she say, no, I got plans on Tuesday to rock your world, you have to say, world rock. So I mean, that's important for God to say, hey, you can even put getting closer to me on the back burner in one instance, and that's if your husband or wife. So there is something to that. But the church used that, I think, overly, because I know of stories in our church specifically and in churches like our church where women have felt raped by their husbands. I don't think anyone should feel raped by their husband. I think at some point you have to either admit you got a wife who's not going to be submissive, subservient, obedient, or whatever, but you just have to take that on the chin and live in that reality. I don't think there's ever an excuse for you to pin your wife down, get on top of your wife, or do anything against her will.
Right. I don't think that she felt raped. She was raped. It's not I felt like I was. That happened.
All I'm got to say is, what's love got to do with it?
Yeah, but let me ask you this: if we believe that your body is my body and I do with what I want, the reason I said felt rape, I just want to say this because I don't want y'all to cancel me. I'm not saying that she was not legitimately raped. I'm just saying in that context that I outlined, that your body belongs to me, so it's really my body. You don't have a right to say no to me with my body. So drop down and get your eagle on. But I do believe that you have to take that into context. This is a different day and age. Women are more empowered. Women, they can tell you no. This another. I want to say this for the record too. A man has to also take responsibility in that. If you're not pouring into a woman's like a bank account. You if you ain't making no deposits throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month, throughout her life, throughout this time span, I don't care if she really does love you and is attracted to you. Women say no to men they're attracted to. You better hope they do, because if your woman can't say no to men she's attracted to, you better be careful, because I don't care if she's 15 months pregnant with big feet. Somebody in Publix is trying to holler at her. So you should want someone who's able to resist you just because she's attracted to you. So I think a man has to take responsibility. Why don't she want to lay up with you? Why don't she want to play Beyonce and say cater to you? It may be something that you've done that made her get there.
I know a lady who said, because we did group marriage counseling, and her husband didn't have a job. And they had us rank how important sex was for us. And he was at a high 10. She was at a 4. And when they asked her why, she said, because I have to work and he's not helping, so that is not attractive to me.
Jaden broke.
Yeah, Jaden broke. Jaden broke. So
That's why.
I think so. That goes to what Freak of the Week said. If you're not pouring and making those deposits, because they could come in all different forms, and that is one heavy deposit. If I have to, I always talk about that Chris Rock. Everybody hates Chris, and the dad, every time they open the refrigerator, he was like 25 cents. They had a light on for 2 seconds, 13 cents. When you're the only one making money and you're paying all the bills, that's how you're calculating all day long. You're calculating. And I'm sure she was calculating the heck out of that man. And he want to climb up on top of her. I was with her. I was like, hey, that's not happening.
And I feel like men do the same thing. You on mute, Alolita. I feel like men do the same thing. I work, I do this. When I come home, this is what I want. So I feel like I'm on her side too.
But let me tell you the danger for that, and I want to help the sisters. Y'all lean this way closer. Lean this way.
I was going there too.
You all are not comparing apples to apples. Y'all comparing oranges to Cadillacs.
To what?
To swap out and say that I can withhold sex because he's not giving me these things is important and should be dealt
That's
with.
not what she was saying. She was saying she doesn't have the drive to do it because she's not attracted to him because he's not working.
That's not a priority for her. That didn't rank high. Because we're talking about spouses saying, no, I don't want to do this. Like this is not what that's what we are. She didn't want to do that. And it's not I'm sure she was attracted to him because she married him. She loves him, but that's still not a priority because that's a turnoff. That's like somebody with bad hygiene. If your spouse stopped bathing
or brushing their teeth,
all of a sudden, that's not a priority to me anymore. Laying next to you is not a priority. Call me on the phone. We can FaceTime and be doing some sexting.
I would love to know what opinion isn't repping all fellas. But I think that sometimes it's easy to say what's a priority to me based upon what's a priority to you. But in the life of a man, sex is his greatest need and desire when he's with his woman. And so if
Oh,
so if so if that thank you, Reverend Junior. So if that is something that he's needing, it to him it feels like, oh well, I didn't make her secure, or I'm not working, or this, that, and another. And that is a woman's greatest need, security. I get that. But
Right.
it to him, you're withholding his greatest need, and he doesn't feel like he's withholding your greatest need. So your actions may be in, I disappeared. So your actions may be interpreted differently, and you may get a completely different result than what you're trying to get. Because there is a woman with his jobless self who will give him sex like he works full time,
And
and
there's
it's
also a
dangerous.
man with a job who can get this all the time. If
And-
you, we can go both ways on that one.
and
Did you hear what I said earlier about biting you?
But who?
biting.
Biting you.
No, I feel like
Yeah.
feel like you're missing that. I don't think she was withholding as a punishment.
Right.
She wasn't withholding. And in that, because I was in the counseling session when she said, when they asked why to him, he gave his answer, which was very, basic. And then she gave her why. He was like, he never heard that before. He didn't know that. And you better believe he went to barber school. That way he wasn't making much, but he figured something out. He got
cut
him
lawn.
right. He got something because he did not know that. And I really feel like that they're not together now, but that did delay their divorce. Hello. They still got the divorce, but that did delay it because they were as the marriage counselor kept going, they were doing better because he realized. And I remember because she reported back in, he started doing more around the house too, because he's like, well, hey, I don't have a job, let me figure this out, because she was like, this is just a lot on me.
Right.
So she wasn't doing it to hurt him. I want to be very clear, just in case you're watching.
See, that threw me. If I had, that was
She was doing it because she was tired and she had no drive, no desire anymore.
right.
You see what Chubb put? Don't be
You
that
don't
person.
know. I
Don't be that
disagree.
person.
I'm disagree with lack of communication because I feel like with all these Kevin Samuelites running around these streets, they know daggone well that security is something that is important to women. Every man knows security is important. I shouldn't have to communicate that to you. I think every man knows that we're not together, so I can take care of you. That's
But can I tell you the problem with
Hold on,
women?
Lolita had something.
I think that you should never assume a person knows anything. I'm big on communication. You don't have to guess nothing with me. I'm gonna tell you from A to Z. So although yes, a woman's like greatest need is security, it's like we can't expect the dude to know that. I mean, I'm not expect him not to know it, but we can't just be silent about it. We still should communicate that.
agreed.
No, and I don't think, because I don't think that she knew. I mean, because that was like a dig deep moment. That was a dig deep moment, and I feel like yes, she should communicate that if she knows it. But I also feel like everybody in that setting, because we knew them outside of that setting. I even knew it, and I've never talked to her about it. But you could just tell that he was just. You could just tell that something that he was missing it.
And I also feel like some things aren't assumed. Like you just know that they've been together. How long were they together?
Too long for that.
Let's say they were together 5 years. You know, security, finances is important to her. You know that having a secure relationship, that's probably been communicated
What
prior to. But
what is a man
Ready?
what is a man's primary duty in a marriage?
To Ashley.
Three things: protector, provider, and the priest of your house. Not providing as fully the only sole financial provider, but providing in all ways, whether that's a potential solution or problem. You should be trying to figure that out, providing good parenting and guidance for the children. I think that you should provide everybody's lanes, but not in just financial, because I feel like women
Correct.
should help work. But if heaven forbid something happens, you have to be able to figure that out.
Provision comes in many forms. Provision,
So,
provision is not only financial,
and,
but
and
in that
protect
aspect,
and protecting.
correct.
You should be protecting my
Exactly.
emotions, my heart. You should be protecting this family, our love and stability for one another. So yeah,
Because in your example, what was he doing?
that part. Looking around.
Waiting for her to get home so he could climb on top of her.
So let's have a real conversation that black women don't
Okay,
like
I'm
to
glad
have.
because this past hour was so fake.
For
Go.
what? Black women?
That black women don't like to have.
Oh, okay. This is interesting.
So
You said who don't like that?
Women, black women don't
black
like
women,
this
Oh,
conversation.
for it.
specifically. Okay.
specifically the Negro woman in America.
Not the Negro woman.
So it is very common because of societal issues and even in the construct of the black family, it's very common that black women are in a better place than black men are. And what I mean by that is, I, what I mean by that is, I remember hearing things because I come from a family of predominantly women. And I remember hearing things that my uncle said to his son. He said, it's not that I'm spoiling her because she's my favorite. She's my daughter. I say it to my son because that's what I heard coming up. My son, I want him to know, have it a little rougher than my daughter. So you get with a guy and you may have gone to college, or maybe you had parents that helped you with your first car, or whatever the case is, or yada, yada, yada. I'm talking about young people because usually this is where these habits are forged. Most black women who dated in high school were in a different position, not all, but in a different position than the man. So you allow him to start
Not on me.
outside of marriage, or maybe inside marriage when you're building. You allow this man to jump up in you like he's at DC Discovery Zone, right?
Okay.
No one's secure. You're not secure, this, that, and other. Usually women, a lot of them, they only begin to mature and literally desire that security after they've had children. I will talk about Russell Wilson and Sierra, but I'm not going to go there tonight. I'm just saying, period. But literally, will you stop? So, so my point is, I want to build a foundation here. Take it. So, right. But literally, you have a situation where when a woman flips and she now decides, even if it's not the same woman, he gets a different type of woman, and she's now deciding she wants security. He's not used to that. There is a difference, and a woman has to own that. Y'all come in and save us and rescue us. Oh, I'll help you. I'll help you get your credit right. I'll help you build. I want to build with you. And while you building, you know you got more than him.
What's your complaint, though? I'm confused.
confused too,
That we done
like-
built you up. We done took you in.
We done-
Listen,
you
hold
done
on, but watch
discovery- you done
this.
discovery
Watch this. Hold
zone?
on. This is my complaint. My complaint is if that man struggles or gets to a place where he's still not at your, you can't turn around then and start saying, well, I'm gonna my priorities and I'm gonna withhold, or I'm not in the mood because of where you are, when that's literally been what you accepted from the beginning.
Okay, most of the time when if we're in that place where we're like withholding, which I don't withhold, but if we're in a place of withholding, it's most likely not with the person that we helped build their credit up, because they done went on with somebody else anyway. They done got what they needed, and she reaping the benefits of your hard work.
Boom, bam,
So
pow.
we're to the point where now we done got to the another guy, and I'm not helping you rebuild. And I feel like black women, we got about 1 or 2 build ups in us. Maybe 1 or 2, we're gonna build with you.
Right.
But after that 2, you pushing it. The 3rd, it ain't happening. Because you can't. Because if I'm sitting there building you all the time and I'm giving you, and then I gave to him, I don't have nothing left. So now I'm at a guard. You need to build, especially when you're up in age. We in our mid 30s, 40s, and you sitting there talking about my credit not good and I don't got no job and
I need you to help me with, help me
right.
start this lawn company.
Then now that's and I think that's where she was. It was like, okay, enough is enough. She was, and this is really to get you, got you. Because I hope and I'm not saying no names. This person was actually in the military as well. And I think military mind is different because if one spouse is in, our first thought is if you can't get a job, put your right hand up and you come on in too. That's why you get a lot of couples in there because go ahead and put your hand up. And as the man, he could have put his hand up and just went on in with her. There
A
was
man,
no excuse.
a
Wait.
man has to sign to die. He has to sign to literally die. What are
Okay,
we talking
can
about?
you stop? Literally,
Okay,
die.
and let me go
Die.
into saying, go
I
back
feel
to
like
what you
meaning
were saying.
die.
Let me go back to what you were saying. If you're in a relationship and you help him build up to where he's building up,
Right.
why am I helping you build again? How did you just mess up what we built?
Oh, come through.
I
Based on
don't.
your
You messed something up because I done got you to where you need to be. I helped you get to where you need to be. Why are we re-being?
That's good. That went
I'm
right over my
good.
head. That went right over my
And
head. I
and
already built you up already.
and in Ashley's example, wasn't he working before and then he lost his job?
I don't know. I don't know that part. From I don't know
Okay.
if he had a job
Right,
before that.
right. Because that's important because you're saying why you said they were married. Uh, let me
So
slip.
they were married and he didn't have a
It,
job when they got married?
exactly. Come on, come
No,
on,
I know that when they met, he
come
was
on.
working at McDonald's,
You didn't
but
even
they
like
were
her, remember?
kids.
All right.
They were young. They were children, not children, but they were teens.
And even if he lost his job, I don't think it's an immediate thing. I don't think it's like, oh, he lost his job, I'm not interested. No,
Exactly. I think it's like years of
going on for
complacency.
some time. You
Right.
still sitting at home putting in your applications in your resume, but you ain't got no job yet. Like, no, you just sitting here doing nothing. And now I have to take care of everything. And I've been doing it for months on end. Dude, chill out. I'm tired.
But and I want to say this, and I'm off of this couple. In his defense, he did pick the children up. I mean, he did pick her up from work because we worked in the hospital. But he was parked in the fire in the emergency lane, and where the ambulance go, where we're not supposed to be parked, and he would be asleep like waiting for her. It was so embarrassing. So I would make noise when I came out just to wake him up because I felt so bad for her. It was so embarrassing. But anyway. But
Yeah,
he pick
I was,
her
wait
up
a minute.
though.
I'm like, how was that in his defense? Like,
Because he
that did
picked
not
her
help
up.
at all.
That
Right.
did not help his case. That did not help his case.
But if he picked her up, so that means you had a car to go get this job. Right. He never had a stitch.
Who said that? Oh,
But so let me ask you this: what you accept, even in that, because I feel like when you talk about the bedroom and acceptance and marriage and things like that, I think that's true even of bad habits. If you accept bad habits, I think that you also have to take a responsibility for those bad habits down the road. Now, a lot of, and I hate that I'm sounding like a crazy abusive man tonight, but hear me. A lot of men who go crazy when a woman leaves, it's not that she's leaving. It's this, you ever seen people divorce after 10, 15, 20 years and the other person says, I don't know what happened. That's because that's the person that was always taking, and the other person was always giving. So they're legitimately shocked. I thought we were happy. Yeah, you thought we were happy because I was doing everything. But the person who allows that person to do that has to take responsibility. You just can't snatch away from somebody. Like Lolita said, you do have to communicate and maybe say, look, you know what? We've been doing this for a long time. I can't go on like this. You got a year to get this together. You just can't expect somebody to wake up and break off bad habits in a marriage. And you've been okay with picking his drawers up off the middle of the floor for 10 years. And you're going to wake up and give him a 2-day turnaround. Don't step out your drawer. I've been doing this 10 years with you. And I think that's vice versa. So I think that you have to set those expectations, be committed to communication, but be realistic about what you have as well. Y'all need a commercial break?
No, usually you just take longer to get to the point, so I figured I had more time since you want to be funny. So back to the wait. Is that your normal? Is that your normal Wednesday hat? Who? What?
Telling me.
No. I feel like that shit. I knew it. Okay, so is a headache a good excuse to say not tonight?
Get a BC. They work
And
immediately.
you know what? Sexual pleasure, it's like a BC.
Say that again.
Sexual pleasure, it's like a BC. It the headache will go away. It's a temporary pain reliever.
So now my question is,
Tell that to a migraine.
I'm going to hang out in the BC aisle at Walgreens tonight.
But you got to be good at it though.
Oh,
No, I'm not saying he's not. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Don't
I guess
worry.
you'll be staying at home.
Don't worry.
He'll be staying home. so, so what? I mean, besides the extremes, what's an excuse that is acceptable? Or a reason. I'm gonna say a reason because some of y'all gonna be like, "Well, excuses are not acceptable." What's
Your
the
cycle
reason that's
being
acceptable?
Your cycle being on. I hear like a lot of women like, "Oh yeah, I do it," but ew.
that's the crime scene over here.
That's disgusting. Hey,
It's the crime scene over here.
You know, I actually put a question up on Question Time. Something that's nasty. Sometime back,
That's not what he said.
we're touching shoulders. Separate a little bit because that's I'm weirded out. But a lot of men, they said that it's they about their life. They said that go for it.
running red lights like I'm on Colonial. But listen,
Hey!
but listen.
Concerned.
I'm thinking, is there a good reason?
That's funny though.
If someone said, if my wife said to me, I had a real rough day, I just want to be held, I would be okay with that. I think that a man, but if you're getting it regularly and a woman wants to take a night off, you got to be a crazy man. What have you gone through today, sir, that you have to go to Pound Town tonight? You can't wait till in the morning. You can't let this sister lay down, and she may roll over at 4 o'clock and say, "Hey, I know you asked me earlier, and I got my mind right." Yada yada yada. I think a man, you should keep that man away from your children and everyone in your life if he can't take one night off. Any man is too hypersexual. Even my friends, you know what I mean? Man, I got to hit some every night. Stay away from my kids because you sound like a weirdo. You're seriously, you're a weirdo. Any one of my friends say that, he's suspect.
Well, I've been celibate for so long that once I am married, I ain't taking no days off except for with my period on. Like,
Hello.
and
Ain't taking no morning off either.
what? I've been celibate for too long to be taking any nights off. Nah. She ready.
We ready because lollipop.
Come on with the come on. That's the
Point of
it
information.
was lollipop.
Point of information.
Point of information.
What's the response? Information. Point of information. That's what it is.
I agree. Somebody just get her. She needs.
I couldn't hear you, Danny.
You. Oh, you're muted? You can unmute her. Oh, she did it. There you go. Mm-mm.
Them fancy red AirPods matching your lab coat done went out on you, sister.
We can't hear you.
I think she's. Oh, there you go. Say it again.
Honey,
Okay.
you can hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Women hit their sexual peak when they're in their 50s.
You better stop talking about my Aunt Perla May right now, because she might be watching
She is
this.
up there, honey. She is getting it in.
Oh, hold on.
On the regular. Come on, aunt. Come on, auntie. So now I can talk about your auntie and where she at and what she doing, because we both know now.
She's at Earl's house.
That part. And that ain't a husband.
Not Willie Earl.
That ain't a husband.
So then, nobody wants to date with 3 minutes. Oh, you did? Oh. Hang on.
Who was that who said, hey, let me go look at this live, because somebody getting ready to...
Chef who needs to just jump on here. You showed this one? So, what was I gonna say? That threw me out. Okay, so then now, what do you do if like Aunt Perla May, she reach a peak at 50, right? And with future doctor, when do men reach their peak?
Men are usually at their peak in the mid 20s to the mid 30s.
So now I got 30, 40 years of peak driving. Should he allow her to be driven by somebody else's peak? I'm just saying. Oh, yay, no, yes, no, maybe so. Or would you want your man to be okay with your peak driving?
I got a question. Can we back up? Are you saying women peak in their mid 50s and men peak in their mid 20s? So that's a 30-year difference in peakage.
But I would like to say, keep in mind, women are still lubricating during that time. That during those,
They can fix that. It can be fixed.
So what does a woman do with a man who's peaked at 29? They're the same age, and she's hot and ready to 55.
Some women, remember, not every woman is not the same. Some women never lose their sexual peak. Some people are hot and heavy all the way through. And then some women are not very sexual. So every woman is different. But in general, their sexual peak is in their 50s. So just like that with men, it's the same thing. Some men are hot and heavy till in their 70s. And some men, they fall off in their 40s.
Lord Jesus, help us.
See, I thought it was younger than that because I looked it up. It says that women reach their sexual peak in their 30s.
Mm-hmm. And men in their 20s.
Yeah, because I remember reading this a while ago, looking that up because not to be personal, but to be personal, I'm 37, and I remember when I turned 31, I was like, where is that? And I had to look it up. I thought something was wrong with me, but it wasn't.
But to answer your question, I feel like it's a question of like foundation. You can't do everything you want to do because it feels good or it's what you want to do. That's why it's important to have a foundation on which to measure things by. So for us, it's the Bible. So the answer would be no. If a man peaks at 20 and a woman peaks at 40, should he allow her to go out and do whatever she no, because our foundation is the Bible. We're living in a vacuum now in today's society where we're just going to do whatever feels good to us. It seems right to us. It's pop psychology. It's pop spirituality.
But that's why it's important to keep in mind that your bedroom is undefiled, because certain things could spice up. I ordered on Amazon some things, and I'm single right now, that are still closed and sealed, but I had a good 50% off deal, and I was by faith. Somebody, Shondo, somebody's gonna get tied up in that. You can believe that. You could, if you're watching tonight, it might be you. Others are coming, won't you come? You somebody is.
Can Spectrum please disconnect this man's internet?
They are not gonna let you pray for people on Sunday. You are not laying on the hands on Sunday. You're on a silence. You can't
But not on
that.
here.
Jerome, what's your what did you get? I want to know what's still in the box. What's waiting to be unboxed?
It's a lot. You know, on YouTube channels how they do their gift reveals. If Brandon will allow, I'll go to the trunk real quick. We'll have a whole gift reveal tonight.
An unboxing of sorts.
And I allow.
And you must.
I'm ready to see this unboxing because I'm curious myself.
I look here, little nasty. It ain't no pegs in there.
Come a little nasty. How did I become a little nasty? Everybody else wants to see inside the boxes too. How did I become a little nasty? I tell you about people I know.
The little G-spot fairy up there.
I'm just curious, see if he made a good buy. I'm here.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you can recommend it to, of course, your subscribers, right?
Right.
The question is, did you put it on credit?
No, the deal was so good, I paid it off in full.
Wow. That's faith. You walking by faith.
It was a good deal. It even came with an instructional video link.
That's nasty.
Wow. Wow.
Send me
this better be an app, a biblical app.
Send me the link.
Put the link in the comments.
Right. Do that. So a couple weeks back, Leroy mentioned that making a cast of thine spouse's member.
Mm-hmm.
I know y'all lying. For what? The purpose for why? To make a dildo?
Because we were talking about more than one person in the room.
When you say that word, you have to cover your mouth.
Talking about more than one. We were talking about 2, 3 or more. So he was saying, if you want to do the 3, let me make a mold, and that'll be the only extra person, right?
If she wants another man in the bedroom,
or if he's out of town,
right? That was the other one.
And she, let's get freaky. Hey, let's get freaky. Get freaky with that.
You don't say.
I do.
I thought it was a really good idea, though.
I thought it was brilliant.
A mold of the pool.
Like he said, you know how you make the mold of the hand thing, and you put it in the.
Doesn't that dissolve in water?
The plaster?
Yeah.
Have you tried it?
Not if you pour silicone in the space.
Obviously, since Leroy said that, you two ladies have done a lot of research.
I just use my sense of common.
My sense of common.
It is, right? So say, and this is reaching, I know. Come, just go with me, reach with me. So say he's like, sure, you can go be with someone else, but you have to use my creation.
No.
Within the space and not necessarily him per se.
No.
So what?
What is that?
You have to do what?
What is that? How does that look?
How does what look? I'm not a good drawer.
No, like, what do you mean?
That guy is crazy. She's saying you take your mold of Tom to Peter, and Peter has to use the mold. Peter can't use what God gave Peter.
Say he's
Peter has to use
man's
what
a
God gave
paraplegic.
Tom.
Review.
A quadriplegic. Let's say
The
Peter's a quadriplegic.
You
Like,
wait. You're saying that you're gonna bring me a mold of another man and I use it with you?
right? That's a
Well, I
lot.
mean, technically, that's what happens with all dildos, right? Because they're all molded after somebody.
But no, but Tom want to use what Tom has, not
Asia.
just. I'm not going to that party. I feel like, yeah,
But
yeah, that's the yeah.
So
Kelly,
hold on. So
even as
Peter not gonna be used at all. It's just Tom, and
right,
Peter just gonna be in the room.
oh
Right,
no,
because Tom is a
This
quadriplegic.
is so confusing.
no.
no, I would.
No. My Peter's gonna be used. If you want to put Tom in your mouth while it's doing it,
Oh
no,
Lord,
I'm just.
Wait,
Listen, I-
bow your heads,
listen.
bow your heads.
I want to say this.
Danny fell out.
I want to say this. I think we're talking about the
You need
other.
to say you're joking first.
Yes,
Don't
yeah,
just
yeah,
keep
yeah,
going.
yeah.
You need to watch that.
I'm joking. Yeah. So I want to say this. I, I want to say this. We're talking about the other person in the room. Like, that's extreme what's allowed in the bedroom. So, of course, a lot of people are going to say, we're not going to do that. Let's talk about some more common things. Not that I've experienced these things or desired to. Are you gagging until you throw up? Because a lot of men are into that. Is that okay in the bedroom?
You know
mean-
what?
I
That's
mean, yes.
actually a good question, because if it is uncomfortable and painful or just whatever for her, yeah, and he's still like, you be fine.
No. Men like that. Even men like the gag effect because it makes them feel big. So they do that until you throw up right on them. It's a thing. It happens. Is that okay in the bedroom?
It's okay. However,
Where are all those subservient women who said you can have it whatever you like earlier? Nobody wants to throw up.
I mean,
Again,
I don't want to.
as I said initially, as long as both parties are consenting. So my
So-
answer does not change.
Boom.
Are you single?
No, she got it 10 years older than her. You
No.
gotta follow along.
I just was asking because
I feel.
But did Lolita have something to say?
Yeah, go ahead. She did. I feel like it's okay. I feel like it's okay. But,
okay.
I mean,
Can I go further?
but
I hope you didn't eat a full meal before, Lolita. I hope you didn't eat a full plate of food before.
Can I go
he
further?
is not throwing up. I ain't throwing up on nobody.
Can I
No,
go
no,
further?
no, no.
That's what
Wait a
happens
minute.
though.
Wait a Nah. minute. Well, I don't want to. Okay, because I feel like it's a yes, but you need to ask the reverse. Are you gonna go to that tongue get a cramp?
Yeah.
Hello.
No, the question is, are you going to go past that tongue and cramp? That's the
Exactly.
question.
Exactly. Pass the cramp.
Yeah. So let me ask this. Okay.
So that's a
That's
no.
a no, right?
So don't ask if you ain't doing it.
Well, I don't. In my defense, I've never had to do that long because usually they're begging me to stop because they're so overwhelmed with pleasure.
Not only are you not laying hands on nobody, but you ain't praying in nobody's face. Put that up either. What is that? Whose comment is that?
Chevalier.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny about that? Whenever you pronounce golf 5,000, anyway. So there are a lot of things outside of another person. If what about a dirty Sanchez? That's not something.
What is that?
What? You have to explain. What is that?
I bet you who knows what it is. Look at old Sister G Spot up here. Look at her. Look at her. So listen. So a dirty Sanchez.
Are you googling what a dirty Sanchez?
So a dirty Sanchez is literally when a man has entered your anus, takes it out, and puts it in your mouth.
Whoo, rebuked.
So now we got limits.
I mean, you can do it.
We got limits now.
Sweetie, I always had limits. Always.
My mother raised a woman. My mother raised a
I always
lady.
have limits.
What did you say, Lolita?
I said that's okay to do. However,
Look at
Let me read the definition to you, Lolita. Let me.
I would not. I feel like you can get sick that way. Like, why? No, I would not do that. But I feel
Oh,
like,
I thought you said you would. Oh, okay.
no, I said it's okay for somebody to decide to do that in their marriage bed if that's what they want to do. But the kid is not doing that.
right.
I'm about to get H. pylori.
On that same level, you have the snowball. I'm not a fan of it. It can never be.
Can you stop? No, wait a minute. No,
The snowball.
No, stop.
The snowball is
Don't stop. Well,
So-
you need to log off.
So y'all don't want to be real with the preacher
yeah,
tonight.
right.
I wanna know.
30 Sanchez is your limit, my brother.
Wait a minute.
No, what's the
So-
snowball?
So the
Tell me.
snowball is where
hold
a
on.
man. Okay.
Wait a minute. I'm still on the other one. First off, that's a hard no. And that is, because we're talking about married people, that is, we are now divorced. The moment you ask me that, we are now in divorce court. And you will not see your children anymore. That's what that is.
That night.
No, period. You're
That's
done.
talking about we're in divorce court that night.
Right.
Court ain't even
Period.
open yet.
And secondly, you need to log off. I'm going to help you save your ministry. You need to log off.
After I tell Lolita what the snowball is, I will go.
I tried. The Bible says, then the devil entered into Judas. And now this is the moment. Go ahead. He's entered.
Stop it.
So the snowball is where
He's still
a
going.
man, he ejaculates on the face, lips of mouth of his woman. She kisses him right in the face with it, with his own stuff. Yeah. Y'all don't want real. See, y'all wanted to talk about the bedroom. I'm gone now.
Now
Like,
that, wait a
somebody
minute.
put truffle butter. Well, they're truffle butter too. What's that? What's truffle butter?
Truffle butter is when you go in the back and then you go directly in the front.
Yeah. But because of the
Yeast infection,
juices,
mammy.
because of the juices and the ointments with the truffle butter, it looks like that. That's disgusting too. Because all real women, they were told to wipe from the front to the back, right? I don't know, but
I think that now go back the snowball. I do like snow cones, so I.
Wait a minute.
Where's the strawberry marmalade? Where's the strawberry flavor? So yeah, I'm not mad at that one.
you wait. You would be okay with a man who is okay with you taking his semen, his cum, and you kissing him and rubbing it on his own face? If a man,
I didn't get that part. The rubbing on his face. I didn't.
Wait, so you would be okay with ejaculating on her face and having it on her face, but you wouldn't be okay with having it on your
Boom! Come through with the come through. You better. You better.
So
Right now.
the definition I see on Google is passing from one mouth to the other.
right? So watch this.
Passing.
I'm talking about me. I'm not okay with a lot of body fluids my own. So I'm surely not okay. I don't want your bodily fluids on me. So I'm surely not okay with my. But I'm just like that about bodily fluids. I don't like.
But how does that work? How does that work when you're doing it to a woman? Don't her bodily fluid? Oh nope.
So
Right.
right. So listen here. G stands for Gloria. I can get there mentally for the moment, but it's literally right after the moment. I want it off of me. I just want to say that for the record.
Wait, so you would ejaculate on her face and then let her put it on your face for the moment?
I almost said something that you just did. I would not do that.
But
Yeah.
But you would ejaculate on her face?
No, he's not saying he's into that. He's saying he's okay with going down on a woman and for it's temporarily to be on his face, but he'll wipe it off right after. He's not into the snowballing thing.
Right.
So you're not. I want to hear like yes or no. You're not into ejaculating on a woman's face.
I'm gonna log off. I think that I'm going
Wait,
to.
the film, the 1, 2, 3, 4 film.
I think at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove myself from this conversation. because I'm not an open book. The
You
only
know,
book
let's
that
just redirect
And
it.
Chef needs to
Say, well,
come
then
on.
say that then, because I'm not gonna talk about anything I do or I would do personally. So
yeah. So I just will say for the record though, but if you're a woman and you're okay with those kind of things, and you're looking for a man who might be okay with those kind of things, I have some friends. If you call me, I can point you in the right direction.
Very kind of you.
After marriage, of course.
Very,
I
very
still
kind.
feel so. My answer is going to stay firm that these are discussions that you need to have, and both have to be consenting adults. At the end of the day,
I'm
my
gonna
answer
say
stays.
Point one.
no discussion needed. No, we're good. But thank you for offering.
What about mild violence,
Yes, I give him
slapping, choking,
tweet for-
aggression?
I'm not-
Are those things limited? Do you have? Can I fold you like a pretzel?
Slap.
a little chocation. I mean,
there's nothing wrong with that. What's
And I'm like, because my dress are long, you can even wrap it around my neck and.
oh
I'm
Lord,
just
oh
kidding,
my
I'm
God.
just kidding. All right, am I? I don't know.
So what about?
Oh, boy, thank you. What did I say?
Come on, Renee. Come on, Renee.
So yeah, so I think those things should be talked about. I mean, because some men are into the
I'm
the
not.
the act of humiliation. Some men get off on control and possession and humiliation. They want you to.
I think no. See, that's when I draw the line. If you're doing it to humiliate me, then
We're
that's
not
different.
married.
Yeah, I mean, but if we doing it because this is just something we doing. But if you're doing it with the mindset, I'm trying to humiliate this girl, and then I'm out. Count me out again.
No,
we
no, no,
back in-
not humiliate like devalue, but humiliate like demoralize. They get off on demoralized
No,
women.
Worse.
same
I
thing.
think.
We're not together. I
It's-
don't want you.
And I don't think that would be in a marriage. I would hope that won't be in a marital situation anyway. Because
No.
like, why?
You don't think?
So,
You don't think?
There's
you
a
don't think?
whole movement. There's a whole movement of men doing things called cuckolding.
What?
Cuckolding. So
This is
it's
getting ready to be
basically
interesting, folks.
cuckolding has to do with a man who likes humiliation and is okay with another man sleeping with his wife in front of him. And even if the man is bigger than him, more well endowed than him, he gets even more. He gets off of that humiliation. I just learned about this a couple months ago because I didn't know what it was. Somebody told me to look it up, and I was like, "Oh,
It's
nice.
a thing.
It is a thing."
It's a thing, and
Right.
older
But is he humiliated
older
if
white
he
men
agrees to it?
invite young black men into their bedrooms to do it all the time.
Exactly. Remember, there's men into dominatrix where they like being humiliated as well, and they
Right.
get off on the humiliation.
But again, like you said, I'm gonna go back to Danny. Consenting to both parties have to consent. I'm not
That's
consenting.
what I
to
said.
that. That's
Yeah.
something that because we're saying where's our line drawn? I do have a line, and it is drawn right there.
So you're not limitless anymore.
You know what? I'm not.
I don't think she ever said she was limitless.
Her name says it. Look,
I
look,
didn't write that.
limitless. Yeah. So women, there are women who get urinated on.
Did you put
There are
that
men
one
who
up
get urinated on. Those things are real. Women swallow at a man's request. Those things. Lita just threw up a little bit.
I don't
Those,
think that's humiliation.
I was thinking about something else. But what did you say?
I said there are women and men who get urinated on.
Mhm.
That women who swallow
Mhm.
the males. That's so
Okay, can wait a minute.
I
Time
need
out.
this. I need
Can you get on
like
and just
legit.
teach a class?
Please.
Because these are terms I've never heard in my life.
And it's amazing that you know all of them.
I think that
Brandy's a nut.
this might be a after hours question time block. 'Cause, like,
I mean, but the whole topic was about, wasn't it? What was the topic of the day? It's a marital bedroom, so you knew this was going to be an after dark conversation.
no, I ain't know it was gonna get that dark.
Did you? Didn't you?
Right.
I expected it. We haven't talked
It
about
says,
incorporating.
are there
food.
any limits?
Right.
in the marital bedroom, so you knew it was gonna go all the way down there.
See, you don't know what you don't know. See, I didn't know that was a thing.
No,
I
no.
didn't know the name, especially the names. I didn't know that there were some men who would have you who want their girl to do stuff in front of whatever. I knew that. I'll log on, but I didn't know that a lot of the other stuff. These
Role
terms.
playing. What about that? What happens when he wants you to be a maid today? What happens when
I'm gonna do that.
Which
Yeah.
accent you want, boo?
what happens when you check into a hotel? He wants you to come in like you're there to clean the hotel
That's fun.
and yeah, those kind of things. And I'll tell you something else, and this is not about me, but it is about me. I'm 36 years old, and I believe that car sex should be a part of every marriage. Car sex is always great. It never gets old, and it's really good when you do it in public places. I'm gone now. Good night. God bless you.
I mean, I agree.
I mean, that's not really. I mean, that's to me, that's not as X-rated as that other stuff you were talking about. That snowballing and
Ma'am,
that.
don't try to make me sound like don't do that. That other
To
stuff
me,
you're
that's
talking
not
about.
bad. To me, that's not as
Don't try to
bad.
make
To
me
me,
sound like
that's
a monster.
normal. To me, that's average.
With the price of gas, and that might be a lengthy
The price of gas. I love it.
situation.
No,
Right,
because you
right,
need to
let's-
just stay in your garage
So-
because anywhere else
So
you get
Ashley, you telling your man we ain't
vulgarism.
spending money on this gas. Come on, let's go to the house.
Right.
I mean, we can go drive around to the backyard. I mean, but I believe car. Hey, now
A lot of women are pain freaks in the sense that they like not just slapping of the behind, but they like actual pain. Because from what I heard, and maybe Dr. G Spot can help me here, that the same receptors for pain and pleasure are at the same spot at the base of your brain here. So often, I have a friend, and I hope he's not watching this, but I have a friend who actually was into this type of play with his woman.
Autoerotic asphyxiation.
And they literally would because apparently if you choke someone and you release
Close to
the
the brink.
hold at the same time that they're climaxing, it's supposed to be a experience like you've never had before. So they
Don't
would
try
choke.
that at home.
what happens if you release too much?
So watch this. I have a friend who did 12 years in prison for manslaughter. And the only reason he didn't do life was because his mother and his pastor testified that they knew this was a kink that he had. Who said an explosion? That sounds like somebody
Renee.
who knows from experience.
Oh my goodness!
But yeah, but they said that's a real thing. That they tie belts on each other and you choke them until the point of climaxing. And the moment that all the blood rushes and oxygen rushes back to your head, on top of you climaxing at the same time, it's supposed to be something that's out of this world.
I'm gonna say
Right,
it.
because you dead.
I'm gonna have-
Literally. You out of
No,
this
it's called autoerotic asphyxiation.
I've heard of people masturbating and then they hang themselves and like bring
Well,
themselves.
it's the same thing.
Yeah, that's
Okay, but
autoerotic
that's different.
asphyxiation.
End up dying. So then somebody discovers them.
Oh, what a terrible way to be discovered.
Come on now, like how you explain that to their kids?
Especially if you live with your grandma.
What ain't like?
If you live with your
Terrible. Heck no. I'm just give me regular. I'll take regular any day.
Lolita says sign her up for vanilla.
I think that
I'm gonna do a swirl.
the to the point of die like that, like right on that brink, that I draw the line there. I'm okay with a little.
They're not intending to die though.
I know that, of course. I'm saying, but not to the brink. But again, what?
She's saying the other person has to be trained on how far. In other words, only do it with a doctor. Everybody else,
No.
everybody else is off limits.
Brandy said only do it with a doctor.
Who
And you
knows
need to
how
do
far
some-
you can go?
And you need
okay?
to do that with somebody who knows CPR too, like who knows life-saving skills.
And who don't play too much, because then they'll be like, "Why you acting like you did? Stop playing."
Uh-uh.
Could you imagine the guilt you would have? Like,
No,
Dang.
because they
And you
doing
in
it.
jail. That's crazy.
Not somebody in the cell next to you choking you.
I almost threw up.
No, I'm good. I am so good.
So people do have limits then. I think we did discover,
Of course.
I think we did discover that those who
Everyone
thought they
has
were
their
limitless.
limits.
Everybody
Everyone.
have limits because I'm not letting you do nothing like no bodily fluids from below coming on me. That's not like like that you would put in the toilet. You're not putting none of that on me. Like I have limits, especially when it comes to hygiene, like health. That's crazy. In my life, that's crazy. I'm not doing. I'm not gonna. Some people into that, but that's not. I'm not doing that. So to my next husband that's watching, do not ask.
Are women wrong for them rimming guys?
Say that again.
You said, are
Are
women wrong? It depends. As I said, as long as both parties are into it, then nothing is wrong in the bedroom. There's nothing off the limits as long as both people are into it and both
so
people are
trick so
consenting.
Trick Daddy went viral for saying that he gets off from women licking and eating his butt as much as he does doing it to them. So these women here tonight, the 4 that I'm looking at, are okay with being bon appetites.
Wait,
I've
am
never
I
been.
okay with being bon appetit or am I okay with the meal?
Good question.
Motorboat, are you licking butt? Is my question. I'm getting ready to go.
He told me because your daddy look dirty.
I'm not going to talk about
Who
what I was.
already done it? Who already done it?
Who was
Who done
that?
done it?
Taisha.
I'm
Who
gone.
done it?
I'm getting off the. I'm
Instead
getting.
of we singing on the
I'm getting
church
off the
mics
line.
on Sunday.
I'm getting off the line.
Did y'all say Tasia?
Look.
I'm
Oh,
go-
go ahead, Alisa.
Did y'all say Tasia?
They're gonna
Tasia.
show get my license now. We
Now
Hey,
this y'all whole church gonna be
Do
shut
you
down.
take
That's
a
what
right
about
now?
to
so this
Hey.
coming Sunday, we need a preacher and a praise and worship leader.
Yeah, that church about to be shut down. Oh, hell, cool. Just say he like 'em.
LL Cool J said he liked it too.
And what's interesting is he got to be doing, his wife got to be doing it. But anyway, I'm okay with being the meal. I am not okay with the meal. To answer your question.
I'm not okay with either.
Oh, you're not okay with either. I think that I might. I think I could.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for coming on.
All right, we got room for Chef.
Is there anything you want to say?
No.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So you said you're not okay, Lolita. Why?
I'm not okay with either because you can get sick by doing that. It's a lot of bacteria there, even if you wash really well.
There's a lot of bacteria in your mouth.
Like, but not that kind of bacteria.
I'm tooted and booted. So
Just don't toot when he boots.
done that before.
Yeah, that's
Drip, drop, drip, drip.
what's that on your lip? Fecal matter? I mean, that's disgusting.
Oh, please don't like you haven't finkled the matter, okay? Say this. Oh. Oh wait, there was a comment I wanted to.
I want to see.
Look like he got mud butt.
He got mud, but oh man, where is
But
it?
I feel like,
Oh, well.
I mean, I definitely have limits. Like I've discovered that tonight. There's been a lot of educational moments here. Yeah,
Eye-opening.
right.
I think anything goes. I think for me, other than anal play, I think that's kind of
You said anything goes what?
other than anal play
So everything we said today, you're okay with.
and snowballing. I'm not doing anything with male
And
juices.
and chuck holding. What is it?
Cuckling.
Cuckling.
What is it? No.
No, I didn't say that.
That stutter though. That stutter said it.
Right, but I think we already established that bringing someone else in the bedroom, we all agreed at up top that was outside. So I mean, I'm thinking everything other than that.
So you're okay with the? You said what's the other one? The
The
mud
dirty
pie.
Sanchez,
The mud pie. What's the
the
other one?
truffle butter.
Yeah, something.
So
You,
that's the same thing as
a woman got to ask herself if she's okay with the truffle butter.
You would be okay with that, Gerard?
Would I be okay with going into someone's anus and then coming right out and going into their vagina? Is what you're asking me.
Yeah. You said you
So
would be okay with truffle butter.
right. So Ash is dying. I, yeah. I want to say this for the record. This is all hypothetical and memory from married days. I just want to say that for the record, and wishing for future married days. I am not so.
I can't even fix my face.
But in all fairness, I will say
Thank
that if we're going straight biblical and the bedroom is undefiled, then what then are the limits? The bedroom is you can go
As far
ham
as you can imagine,
in the bedroom. So I mean,
I don't do anal. That's my question.
I think
Is my
that-
answer to you, Lolita. So in order to get the truffle butter, I would have to get through clause A to get to clause B. Did you get that? A and B. Yeah. Yeah, but I think that I don't
okay.
think
Before, what are your limits? What are your limits, man? Do you have limits?
Give
Let's
us a
just
limit. Right.
give us give us 3 limits.
I'm not
And
being.
then, Chef, pop on and give us
He
your limit.
popped. He
Oh,
popped.
yay!
He popped. Mr. Dictionary himself.
What's
The
up, y'all?
same.
The same. Oh, where it?
Well, I need to go to church after this conversation, but not yours, Pastor. I've already realized that one.
He said he said what?
But not yours, Pastor.
But maybe I need to go to yours. Apparently, there's some stuff going down.
Well, that's how he get you in. Then he teach you different.
But
Oh.
this isn't a new administration, Doc.
Don't be trying to cover.
Holy-
I don't know what you Chef over
Holy
there
and
doing all this.
Holy and sanctified. Ooh.
So what have you garnered from this whole conversation since you were from the outside looking in?
I garnered that people are so close-minded and prude when it comes to their own pleasure, and that they care and worry about more what people think about certain things that they want to do or have been pleasured in than exploring and understanding what could bring them pleasure. We evolve as humans. So this is coming from someone who actually studied sexuality, human sexuality in particular. Should I take out my earphone? Is it a hard time hearing me?
It's
No.
low to me.
And say it again.
Go ahead.
I just need to fix my face.
Oh, okay. Because I hear you doing. I see you doing this. I'm like, okay, I can take out.
So I want to make sure I hear you. I want to hear this.
Okay.
She's tuning
So-
in.
Got it. So, sexuality is fluid. It is ever evolving. The main purpose of humans and were to procreate, but just like anything, it evolves and it becomes bigger and it becomes more, and pleasure became a part of that. So now sexuality became a part of pleasure, right? No, don't smack your teeth
No,
because
I disagree with the beginning of what you said. When you said I discovered that people are more closed-minded. I wouldn't say it's
I believe
closed-minded.
people are-
I have different limits than you have. It's not
I'm not talking
closed-minded.
about you, Freak-a-Leak. I'm talking about everybody else. I'm talking about because look, I picked up what you were putting down. I was clocking what you were saying, even in the underlying things that folks didn't probably necessarily think. But I think in general, I think folks are afraid to explore what makes them happy and what makes them satisfied and what pleasures them. And that we're humans, we're adults, and it's okay to sit in those things. But I just from this conversation I garnered, which was the question, what did I garner from this conversation, was that it just seems a little prude and closed-minded. It must be a baby crying. It ain't mine.
And you know what? I think I can agree that people are afraid to try new things But that's also because I can end up dead because somebody choked me too long.
Right.
I ain't got time
And
for that.
that also, but that's the other thing. So Danny, I wish Danny were here because I didn't need to join because Danny was my spirit animal, a part of this entire conversation, and said everything that needed to be said that I would have said. But it goes with also make sure that sexual pleasure should come from someone that you trust, and it should come from someone that you
Are married
understand.
Oh. I think.
I'm
I
trying.
think
I'm
I
trying to
can
get
agree
my
with that.
position back at the church. Just
I
Okay.
got you. Well, in that
Right.
case,
Get back in there.
in that case, sexual pleasure should come from someone, and not necessarily who you're married to, but it should just come from someone you trust, that you have a connection with, that can understand you, can understand your body, or is willing to learn whatever those things are and whatever those limits are. And the folks who are doing those things don't have, since y'all want to get into terms, don't have safe words, right? Like pineapples, right?
Or pause.
Right. Or bananas or doorknob or whatever the case may be. So they don't understand. They are trying things without the education behind it. And education is absolutely important in any aspect, whether you're trying to be as vanilla as possible because even being vanilla, there's a risk of pregnancy. There's a risk of STIs. There's a risk of all these other things, right? And so education is probably the most important when you're exploring in any capacity sexual wise. And I used to also be, just for my credibility's purposes, I used to also be a board chair and a board president of an organization that really spoke about sexual health in many different facets, the mental, the behavioral, and the medical behind it as well. So, there are three things. Shout out to 26 Health.
So then, do you believe there's limits? We know if everybody agrees, it's agreed upon. Cool beans. But do you feel? What are some of your limits?
I don't really have any. Um,
Well, cheers.
yeah, I my philosophy was all like I'll try anything once, and I haven't tried everything, so there's still far more out there to explore.
Are you sure? Because I feel like you know so much in the comments. I think you've tried a lot. So would you invite someone into your? Is someone an additional person a limit?
I don't think so. I haven't tried it, but I don't think it's a limit.
Cheers.
Yeah, I think the conditions have to be right. The idea has to be right. The agreements have to all be there. But in general, I don't think a limit to me. If I may name a limit, I don't really necessarily have limits. But if I may name a limit, when it comes to bodily fluids that we were talking about, I'm not into 2 girls, 1 cup, like that type of idea. Yeah, Pastor knows what that is.
do y'all know what 2 girls, 1 cup is?
Don't talk about it because you're trying to get your license
heard
back.
of it, but I've never watched the video.
What is it?
Listen, I just want to.
Speaking of fecal matter, like that's the.
Wait, what?
Wait.
it's the
Hold on. Wait.
extreme
Hold on,
of
hold on.
fecal matter.
Hold
Wait,
on,
let me tell
I
you.
can't hear. Hold on, wait. Say that again, Shell.
So it's the extreme of fecal matter.
Diarrhea?
No.
Essentially.
He's not telling it right. Before the internet got real corrupt, it was this video. You couldn't even go to a website. You had to send it in a file. It's called 2 Girls, 1 Cup. And literally, it starts with these gorgeous girls.
I just, you don't even have to give a description. We're trying to get you your church back. And with that being said, it's what it does is it's the fetish of poop. And
You're underplaying it though,
Let
Chad.
him talk, man.
And I'm trying to do it because this is live, it gets recorded, it stays on Facebook forever, and people might watch this later. So I'm trying to do it in a way that's diplomatic, but also gives the correct information, right? So it involves poop, and it involves the eating of it, and it involves the live of like just the feel and the warmth of it on your body and the getting off on it. And so that is a limit for me. That's a limit.
Let me
But
fix my face.
however, there's this thing called the dark web, dark fans, and that was created specifically for folks, and it's a large percentage, and there's no shame or blame, because the reason it's a large percentage is because there's a lot of people out there that absolutely love it and who are into that,
eating boo-boo
or seeing it, or
But
feel it, or whatever the case may be, right?
the three women on this live have listened to Little Kim's rap about taking a poop on Biggie, though. That was no secret. They were into that.
I don't know that lyric.
Yeah, I don't know.
What song is that in?
And I feel like there's no shame. Some stuff is shameful. I don't care if it's a whole bunch of people that want to do it. Some stuff is shameful. You cannot do everything and anything you want to do. You just
So
can't.
if I can push back,
Wait. Let me finish. If you can't, then anything goes. You can't say anything to the pedophiles. You can't say anything
not
to
true.
people who, yes, it is true. You can't say anything to because it doesn't fit your lifestyle. That's why there's limitations to certain things. But some things are shameful. Just admit it. Having sex with kids, having sex with dogs is shameful.
No, so you're speaking different of sexual pleasure versus moral. And I think the morals are far different than what
Eating
sexual
doo-doo
pleasure
is a
is.
moral.
People find sexual pleasure with having sex with animals.
That is a moral. That is
That's a pleasure to them, though.
Right,
That's a sexual pleasure to them.
And it's immoral till it becomes legal.
lifestyle. To you, it is.
Say that again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Put that down. Say that
I
again.
think we're going down a path of shame and blame of sexual desire, right? So I'm trying to word this in a way. There are things that are morally absolutely wrong, right? And then there are things that are defined as sexual pleasure. Two consenting adults pooping on one another's chests is not immoral. A child cannot consent to sex
In
and
what
does
state?
not know that. A child, and I'm not talking about a state, I'm not talking about laws, I'm talking about the mental, the psyche, which is why we identified as 18 being adults, right, for a reason.
But
Because
in America,
I do
though,
realize a lot of kids know more about sex than we do, but go ahead.
that doesn't necessarily mean that they're mature enough to
In some
understand.
states, 16 is the age of consent.
right, and in some countries,
Feel
14.
like they aren't able to make a decision on whether they should have sex.
I did say laws, right? I
We're
said
talking about morals, though. Some people say that it's
I understand, and morals come with data. I'm not speaking about a 16-year-old. Yeah,
No,
morals
let him
come
finish, let
with
him finish.
data. Yeah, morals come with data. The reason that it is set for 18 is because, and the reason that age changed from 18 is because of the brain development, right? This is coming from someone who, at one point, took me to one of their brain classes at UCF. Just saying, there are reasons that ages are set for a certain thing. So adults consenting, children cannot consent to mental capacities, for sexual mental capacities. Animals can't say yes. It is not something that they can consent to. They can't literally speak and tell you yes, right? And so that
they just passed the law saying that you can do oral acts to your animals. You can't penetrate them, but you can do oral acts to them.
Where is that?
Am I mistaken? In Canada? Or did I read that wrong?
I've never heard of that.
I don't know, but the state of Florida did pass a law today saying that if you molest or rape a child, you can be punished with the death penalty. The state of Florida did pass a law today saying that if you rape or have sex or molest a child, now that is a crime that can be punished with the death penalty, just like murder. It literally passed today.
And can we talk about scientific research? Because back in the days, with slavery, there was scientific research that said that Black people were not human. So me being a psychology major with the focus on human sexuality, research is biased. It absolutely can be bought. It depends on what you want it to say, what you're selling, what you want to happen in the world and society. So not saying that you shouldn't, like take research seriously, but like understand that as well.
And I which I find very interesting that you have such strong opinions about sexual pleasure, with you being a psychology major, with sexuality being a main focus of that. And then it seems fairly closed-minded around two consenting adults doing a particular thing. That is a huge fetish, by the way. So I'd actually like to unpack that a little bit more on, and I'm also coming from a large background of gender studies and sexuality as well. So I'm curious on why you had such a strong reaction to poop, which you being a psychology sexuality person should know or knows that is a huge thing that happens within adult sexual pleasure.
Okay, so just because I know that that's a huge area of pleasure doesn't mean that I accept that to be something that we should do. I just know that that's information that I know.
But your studies should help with the data.
Hold on, let her finish real quick.
And my strong reaction isn't towards the poop, it's towards us feeling like that there's no shame in anything anybody wants to do. That's where the strong reaction was aimed at. I know people there's bestiality, there's necrophilia, there's a lot of different stuff going out there, but just because I know that this exists and a lot of people enjoy it doesn't mean that I accept it.
And also, you're right. Canada does not say you can slob the knob of an animal without punishment.
Not slob the knob. Oh wow!
But I think if enough people want to do it, then it becomes acceptable.
And public opinion.
If whatever the mob wants, the mob gets. Mobocracy. But isn't that something in Canada? You can put your mouth on a dog or a cat
or a horse,
but you cannot penetrate.
And that animal is not giving consent.
And that's morals versus what I was saying around.
But I don't think that's morals versus. I think that's law versus. I just when it's acceptable in the law, then morals change, and we have to. Those are defined totally different.
Excuse me.
To be honest, I think we're actually speaking the same language. I don't disagree with you. You're just caught up on me saying morals versus sexual pleasure. I morally think law, and I also don't think laws are absolutely right. There is a law in the state of Florida that's trying to erase Black history. That is not morals, right? There is a law in the state of Florida that's saying, because you're having this conversation right now, as parents, someone could see this conversation and say, that's not a household that children should be raised in. I can call DCF and I can tell them that they should take those children. There's a law that supports that right now in the state of Florida that goes into effect as of July 1.
Well, the state of Florida is going to fall off in whatever.
But at the end of the day, I'm not tying morals to law. I am not saying that. I'm saying there's morals, and then there's sexual gratification and pleasure between two consenting, with data at the time of what two consenting mental healthy adults are. That's what I'm saying. There's two different things.
And I want to apologize, not for anything I said, but how I'm saying it, my delivery, because it may sound aggressive, and I'm not coming from a place of aggression.
I appreciate it. I didn't take it as a place of aggression.
Me either.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I took it as like
it might be more passion if anything, but yeah, nothing.
Yeah.
Welcome to question time, y'all. And I also think you also have to consider that everybody's morals aren't the same.
Mhm.
So, what morally, I think, even looking at a child of interest, like you're interested in them, is
Also,
I'm sorry,
morally, we're
is
condemned to.
is morally and sexually wrong. But somebody else, Keto, may be like, I don't think that's anything wrong with morals. That has nothing to do with morals. And he,
I'd like to say,
To support what you're saying as well, morals, like I absolutely agree with you. It also depends, like us just having this conversation as open as we've been having it in some communities and in some religious backgrounds is immoral. It is dirty. It is not what we should be having, right? We shouldn't even be talking about these things. And so I can agree with you that that's a thing.
but I think we also have to take into fact, and I think we talked about this last week. That's the problem with morality based on what the majority accepts. See, the morality of the majority leads us, because in our country, literally 40, 50 years ago, a 14-year-old married, bearing children, and running a home was not immoral. It was not illegal. It wasn't frowned upon. It was the way of the world. So I think that's where morality based on majority, agreeing with Chev. I mean, it is powerful, because as disgusted as we are to think about a 30-year-old marrying a 14-year-old and having children, some of us, that literally was the story of our grandparents, or if not our grandparents, our great grandparents.
right.
And no one's sitting around calling granddaddy a pedophile or evil at the holidays. You know what I mean? It was just
So
the
make
way
that
the world
face,
worked.
Chef. Let me say this then. Going back to the subject matter. You're married, right? Everything is you there's nothing to file. Is pooping on you okay?
What?
This
Oh, who said
Brandy,
was
this has
right.
been this conversation.
who
has
is your
been-
girl?
Who said that?
Tasha.
This
Tasia,
conversation has been
she's
so
trolling
different.
right now. She trolling.
Wait. I want to be clear. Tasia's saying, who's saying it's a no for me?
Stop.
Q said it's a no for her.
Stop saying her name. She's kidding. And
She
I
ain't
want her to
kidding.
log off as
Let her
well.
be, let her be free. I
Right.
don't know Tasia. I
She
don't know
trolling.
Tasia, but hey Tasia, live your best life. And you can do that. And it is okay.
Log off.
There is no shame or blame.
Take your
And if you
phone
try
off
everything
your
once,
answer.
how do you
I
know
got a
if you don't
question for
like
the
it?
anonymous person who we won't name. She's saying
Tasia.
she would try pooping on someone,
No, let's
or
move past that.
In the marital bed.
I'm gonna save her. Get off now
In the marital
and
bed.
go to bed.
Would you
Really
be
trying to
okay
save
with,
everybody.
with the poopadoo? Or would you be okay? Is let's not go to the let's
I
start
think that-
slow. Let's start slow. A little R. Kelly.
I think that as long as I'm R. Kelly in the situation,
you would poop
So
and
would
pee on somebody?
give me a glass
You
of
will poop
water.
on somebody.
Log her off.
You will poop on somebody.
Give it all we got.
Who said already did it? Oh, I cannot.
Who said that?
Who said
I'm
already
just
been
kidding.
there?
I'm just kidding, and so is that person.
It's a hard no for me, Tasia.
Oh, that person is saying they've already been there with someone peeing on them, not pooping. Pooping is a different level.
It's a
We're
hard
at
no.
peeing right now. We'll graduate to pooping later. Let's start in elementary school. Peeing.
But if a guy is okay with a woman throwing up on him during oral sex, why wouldn't he be okay with
Chef,
pooping pee?
you're a thumbs up on that.
Being peed on?
Peeing on someone.
You know what? I've heard that a female can urinate and at the same. So technically, is that her golden shower.
Not back in my day.
Somebody need to fix me and Lita face. Somebody need to fix me and Lita. Me.
I thought she was frozen.
Pee and poop at the same. A woman can pee and poop at the same time. Isn't
No,
that
Lolita.
No.
No. Come
If she got
on now.
COVID,
Well,
she
technically
can.
you can.
If she got COVID, she can, because COVID made me do some stuff I never thought.
Technically
No.
you can. Technically you
I
can.
heard
But
what you said, Brandy.
I'm talking about
Yeah.
peeing
Yeah.
and
The climax.
thank you.
Yeah.
Squirting.
And I was telling you back in my day, yes.
back in your day? What? Yes, what?
Just accept it. Just accept it.
I cannot.
Accept
I
it.
want to know all the dirty details.
I'm gonna say in my day, not back in my day, but in my day.
The
The day. The day.
The day. And the mom. I'm just kidding. I'm just here for entertainment, y'all.
Look,
She ain't.
I'm just here for entertainment.
take all mistakes for
Unless you in my
love.
DM, unless you in my DM, I'm just here for
I'm done.
entertainment. 863-898. You figure out the rest. Just try different combinations for them last four.
May the best man win.
Or the least. It don't matter.
Oh my gosh.
Look at you.
Here for entertainment for real.
I haven't choked.
Well, I feel like I should lead us in prayer before we leave tonight.
Wait, we haven't graduated.
First of all, you should lead you in prayer. don't come up over here.
No, he should lead nobody.
Come on.
He should lead.
Come on.
You in prayer.
Anoint yourself. Come on.
This is no fluff.
And call Tasia and lead her because both y'all can lead each other. So y'all,
I heard y'all was looking for a worship director.
right.
Right.
I don't know what's going on.
You talking real talk.
So we can't be friends no more. You just know that, girl. We done. I can't make it do the same. We done, girl.
I'm about to squint when I look at you.
Thank you, Shell.
I sang for you. Anything goes.
The real crazy part is
That's fine with me.
the real crazy part is all of us have siblings that are watching this and they've decided they're not drinking after us at the next family function for sure.
The real thing is we got aunties watching us on their knees right now praying. They ain't sleeping tonight.
And pray.
They on a full fast.
And pray. And
Started
we wouldn't have to have
sweating.
these conversations if we had these conversations early.
And I feel like it's story time, and there needs to be a game night coming up because
Memorial Day.
I'm ready. I ain't got
Memorial Day.
nothing to hide at
I'm doing a game night. Memorial Day.
I'll be
this point. Oh,
there.
you doing something
That weekend.
Is that the same? Okay. So pooping. You guys didn't answer that. Would you
No.
allow pooping?
hard no. That's a hard no.
Would you poop on?
Don't even.
That's a hard no.
You better not. You better not.
That's a hard no.
I'm kidding.
Would you poop on?
That's a hard no.
I can do. I'm a doer. I'm a giver, not a receiver.
Mistakes happen, but that's a hard no.
You better not.
I'm not a fan of bodily fluids. So
In that regard, though.
I'm not a fan of fluids.
Really? So regular.
Like what?
CUM.
In the moment,
Really?
I will say what the pastor said earlier, in the moment, it's like, oh my gosh, look at the beauty I created.
Right.
And then
Heck no.
Immediately after that.
after, it is, I need to first shower and pray.
And don't
And holy oil.
and don't touch me.
And don't touch me. And get out, actually. Yeah.
If we're talking about what?
Anything. It don't
Anything.
matter.
I want to say this for the record. Sometimes
Wait,
you
does that include, hold on? Does that include poopation? The poopa do?
No. We said hard no on
Okay,
that, Brandy.
I'm just making
Oh,
sure.
that's all I want to get clarification.
look at y'all.
No.
Look at y'all. Y'all team, the two of y'all on the same screen has been team too
Look.
much all night.
It's been a lot.
It's been a lot.
Right.
All right.
We
It's been
It has
should
been
do a
something
follow
else.
up next Wednesday.
This has
it's
been the best one yet.
it's been a lot. I will
say.
say in the moment though, some crazy thing happened. I'll never forget many moons ago before I
No.
was
Long off.
Wait,
Long,
What?
long
many
off.
moons.
Log
This is
off.
why you were married, right?
Right. So
We're muting you.
I
We're muting
was.
you.
Right.
So I was feeling myself in the moment.
Clearly, you've been feeling yourself for a long time.
And in that moment, I tried to imitate what I saw on video before. And this person, we were in doggy position, and I was doing my best work. And I took my leg and I threw it over her back and put my foot on her head.
I know you lie. I know she knocked you off.
That would have been a fight.
And up until that moment, everything I said she was for. And she literally looked back and said, "Don't do that no more." Just want to say for the record.
No more.
Right.
I don't blame her.
So that was her limit.
Anything with feet
You
is
know,
a
put
limit.
your foot on my face. That's crazy.
But I thank God for deliverance. I thank God for deliverance. I want to let you know tonight before I go, whatever you're doing right now, if you're pooping or peeing, God can deliver. I just want to say that for the record. He can clean up your mess. Whatever mess you're in, that He can clean it. Hallelujah.
Come on.
You playing, but you need.
No, I'm serious.
No, you need cleaning up because you done said some stuff tonight that really,
That educated my audience.
I want to say this.
No, wait. This live will only live for 24 hours, and we're already 2 hours in. So 22 more hours, and I'm doing this. I'm doing this for the sake of my two friends, because I care about y'all.
Listen,
Tasia and Ref. But let me tell you something. I didn't need to say their names since it's only 24 hours. I do. Again, I applaud. I just want to make sure before you leave, if you are actually leaving, because I know it's going to live with these. The stream is still happening with these two right here. I applaud the conversation. I applaud just the radical honesty that happened at times, and like these are, especially within the Black community, we don't speak enough about. We don't speak enough about a lot of things, but when it comes to what we deem as private, what we deem as immoral, and sex, even between normal, vanilla, consenting adults, seems to be a conversation of a more, like, folks don't think that's super moral. I applaud the conversation that happened, and how open it was. And I've been a fan of this stream since the pandemic happened 3.5 years ago. And this was the best one yet. This has absolutely been the best one yet.
You said that every time, but thank you. Cheers.
Because you level up, and that's called growth. And I love seeing you grow.
She all the way up.
Yeah, I think that, and also this is going to help someone to be healthy in their sexuality, and I do think that is ministry. I don't think we talk about it enough, even in the church, even though the Bible does. So I do think there has a point. There was a lady in our church once who told her testimony, and they literally stopped her in the middle of it. And there was another sister who said, but she could be saying something that can help me and can heal me. And the pastor said she needed to tell you on her own time. But there's certain things that people don't hear that this kind of platform allows to be heard, that I think it is very valuable.
I want to say something too. In the beginning, I said I was for a lot of stuff. I'm just here for entertainment. Some stuff, yeah, but some stuff, no. So just, if you really want to know, get in my DM.
She's your DM.
First of all, the way your hair is tied up is telling us something differently. So don't even.
Hello.
If you really want to know, get in my DM.
Hello.
We can talk. We can discuss.
I also want to say something. Lolita and this background and this look and this lighting that she had, ma'am, I don't know if you're trying to show up.
Oh yeah.
Hello. And first of all, and now I can say it out loud since I already done text y'all personally. The 3 grants right now, the skin is glowing, the melanin is popping, the beauty is there. Y'all have been radiant this entire time. And what irritates me is that this is just y'all getting on camera, and that is the irritating part, because some of us have to work for that, and so while the rest of us work for that and y'all just come on camera, the radiance is really there for me.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. And I want to say something too. So Gerard, I appreciate you, even though you're a pastor. I think like these are things pastors do and have done. So I don't feel like you said anything that was inappropriate or that'll get your church taken away. I appreciate it. You're a real person, just like everybody else.
Oh, thank you.
No, yeah, and I agree. And like I think pastors most, if not more than other people, live by the business under fire because they're doing a lot of freaking things. And then they can trust their wives to hold it. So I agree. I agree. All in fun. And I think I had a really good time tonight. It was a really good topic.
Good job.
Good conversation.
Well, I'd like to thank the conversation that I had with this one and that one on there. Great conversation.
It was good.
This was
Make sure y'all share.
I've
But
shared
this
it.
stream is only happening for 24 hours. Don't share this for too much.
You know, it's funny. I shared it, and another pastor that you all may know, Pastor Ferguson, who was a substitute teacher at Lyman for years, David Ferguson. Yeah.
You got a social security number too? Dang.
Why you calling people full names?
God, dog.
Well, he commented and said it was a great topic. I just want to say that.
Okay.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Oh, and I
Pastor
was not
Ferguson.
kidding. Tasia, I will not be talking to you in your face. We will not laugh anymore face to face. That is out. Not joking. So don't laugh in my face.
We'll be back to back.
Right.
Okay, look her in your eye.
What she really saying is it's going to be one girl, one cup. She's out.
Oh,
I was never in.
Right. I need somebody to cover their eyes.
y'all are just, Pastor, you are so educated. And that's the whole point of this whole thing, is to make sure you are educated so you know what you are comfortable with. She say nothing about no cup. Not yet. They're researching now.
Don't watch that video. Seriously, hear me in the Holy Ghost. Hear me in the Holy Ghost now. Seriously. No. I'm serious. Curiosity killed the cat. You won't sleep tonight.
Scarf
Yeah,
life.
do not watch that video. I promise you.
I heard it's rough.
25 seconds.
I
and
have no
Scarf
desire.
Life.
Yeah, Chev gave a very light version. It is arguably the most disgusting thing that you will ever see in your
I'm
lifetime.
looking it up.
You say that,
it's an
you're gonna
hour
fall.
long. It's an hour long. The first 30 seconds in, you're done. You're Scarf Life.
Yeah, don't.
This is the last thing I will say about it.
But also, be curious.
But don't be curious. But be curious. I just have one last question. Is anybody nervous about seeing their mama or their auntie or their cousin on this Freaknik 94 video thing coming out?
No, my mama was saved.
What does that mean? What is the Freaknik video?
Have you not heard?
Hulu is doing a documentary on Freaknik 94.
What is that?
You know what Freaknik is?
Daytona Beach. Like
No,
Black
that's
Beach,
Atlanta.
but like Black Beach Weekend, I'm talking about. Like Black Beach
no.
Weekend.
Freaknik, but what makes it worse than VCR and all that was Luke from Uncle Luke from Miami. They were the girls gone wild before the girls went wild. It was completely, they weren't just flashing people, they were sexing on the street in front of people. It was debauchery and Sodom and Gomorrah and anything else you can think of that speaks to perversion.
No, but the thing is that a lot of women in that time are threatening to sue because they're like, that's not who I am anymore. That was
but that's who you were, sis.
that's what she was saying about seeing your mom on there. I'm not concerned about seeing my mom because she wasn't doing it. She had 4 children. She wasn't doing that.
And also, I would like to say, y'all so worried
watch it.
Y'all so worried about seeing these females, but most of y'all daddies out there being predators. So y'all need to figure that one out too.
Oops. And say it.
For them.
And say it again.
All right, that's a good point. There's men on there doing that, encouraging
Y'all
that.
so focused on these females, y'all not giving the men the credit for their nastiness.
Yes, come on.
Right, but
That's a good point. You be thinking outside the
Girl,
box.
I sometimes.
No, and that is a great point, because what that does
My life.
is it continues to criminalize women for doing the same thing men are doing, and who's the person holding the camera?
Right. Who's the one encouraging?
So who's the real criminal here?
right, but that is the the story of man and what they do. They criminalize who they want, and I'm not going to get into a biblical discussion, but that actually is the case even with Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah was not was not destroyed for same-sex relations. Not that I'm saying I'm for or against, but literally it was violent rape of men that was taking place, and literally the violent rape, if you read the story in context, the violent rape of that man is what angered and triggered that.
So if it wasn't violent, if it was just
no, I don't want to preach to the preacher, but it wasn't it was the pride in the heart of man, where they had began to feel like what they were doing was not wrong. There were no limits. Bringing it back to tonight, there were no limits. That's when God said, you know what, I can't do anything with these people. Once you don't have a
governor,
right versus wrong,
she's talking to you, America.
No longer can see right versus wrong.
She's talking to you, America.
There's no reason to keep you around. You can't progress like that. So it wasn't any of the acts that they were doing. It was their heart that God was disgusted with.
Morals.
The pride of
morals.
I gotta go. I'm sweating, and the venue that I'm at tonight, their air conditioning must be broke, or they ain't paid
that lesson. That lesson was very well taught, and I guess we'll wrap it up there with America.
They AC broke.
Is there anything?
Hello.
Right.
Is there anything anybody wants to say about anything? Nope. Okay. If you have any subject matter that you would like to talk about, inbox me. You ain't got to say it on here. Inbox me or text me. I think some of y'all got my numbers, and if you don't, it's a reason. So until next time, Lolita, enjoyed having you and your background and your lighting, the mood that you created. Love it.
And your banging.
banging.
That bang is banging.
Thank you. Quick question. The movie called Chevalier, is that what is that? Does that mean violinist? Or is that just the guy's name in the movie?
That was his name, right?
No, it is what he was. So Chevalier is actually a title. It is a noble title that is given to...
I'm sorry.
It is a noble title given to folks of the highest regard and standard in the French culture. And so he was deemed or knighted like someone in England, in English or in England, a sir or a dame, which is one of the highest standards. So he was knighted and given the title Chevalier because of his contributions to classical music, but also being a slave and also being a person of color, a black man from the slave trade at the same time as Mozart's time.
Why do I feel like I'm gonna see Chef's name as an executive producer?
Right.
So it's kind of so.
In the words of Eric Mays, you want to be cavalier.
Low key. As a black classical musician that has been blessed with a career in the movement of classical arts, I am given a few panels on it because I've been asked, how many people do you know named Chevalier? So Ashley, I look forward to seeing Ash in photography there.
I'm on your
team now. She's back now.
You got me. You real me.
I just want to sit on the panel and have my name on the paper. That's it. I don't want to say
right. So
what's crazy is that Ashley has just typed up a whole invoice for you. You don't even know it. You got a completely prepared invoice already in your inbox. Check your email right now.
I don't even got to type one because I'm gonna say this, and y'all can log me off for eternity. Chubb is a real one. Now, when it comes to hiring, Chubb is a real one. I already got one on repeat. I don't got to even type it up.
Because he knows her skill set and what she brings to the table.
I really have to go because the venue I'm at, I didn't sign the insurance documents, and it's so hot I'm about to pass out.
But just log off.
Yeah, we still having a conversation.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to throw that out there. But does anybody else have anything else they want to say? Anything about what they're working on besides executive producer Chevalier?
I am looking for a church to pastor. I'm not accepting applications, but I am definitely turning them in. So,
and you come with a praise and worship leader.
Right.
Change. Two for the price of one.
Right.
So my last word to say is I am a classical musician and I'm a great musical director for churches. So
and I'm real good over the treasury.
And if you want to hear Chev, he'll be at our church because they're short of praise and worship leader now. This coming Sunday.
I'll be on the usher board.
Right. I'm a good deaconess. I can collect money and make it rain.
Lord. Anyway, thank y'all for being on. We went well over what we went over,
with my golden shower.
But next week, not even next week.
That's happening. DM me.
Please, if I see anybody in your DM, I promise.
They be them boys be in my DM say
she nasty.
And the worst they ever made is when they go low, I go nasty. We never doing a 2 on this because I need to be able to log her off. I need to be able to click her off.
I love it. No, you need to do this often.
No, I need to be able to click her all the way off. No. Mute her. Any boo.
Boo.
That's any boo. Anyway.
Say me back on that.
I'm like, what is that? But okay.
No, we done.
So definitely every Wednesday, but you might see something in between. So just be ready. So just be ready. And if you have, again, I'm going to say it, over 1,000 followers on TikTok, make sure you follow me on TikTok. Same name at Brandy LG L Grant. So we can talk about some things on there. A little bit more, less guarded, less limited on TikTok as to what you can say and what you cannot say. So thank you. What are you laughing at? I need to know.
Ashley is killing me.
So thank you all. Thank you for the comments, and I will see y'all on the next one. Lord help us. Come back, Lolita.
I shall.
That was good.
You want to just say it's the final? Just say the final whatever.
The wrap it down. It was really good. Thank you for all that came on, all of our guests that were just in the comments. Danny for popping on, of course, Gerard, Tasia in the comments, just anybody, Q. We appreciate it. It was such a good conversation, and it's supposed to be light and airy. You know, it is what it is. It's just for fun. So if you were in the comments, please let's see your face next time.
Renee, Oscar, just want to make sure we throw those names out there. Yeah.
The D. Who started with D?
Darian.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So love you. Thank you. Love you. Mean it. Bye.